Hello, I'm Christian from the Communities team at the National Football Museum. The museum's collection is packed with the history of the game of our lives. In this video, we'll be taking you through 11 museum objects on the history of the world's oldest annual cup competition, the FA Cup. In 1871, FA Secretary Charles Alcock proposed a new Challenge Cup for FA members. 15 clubs entered the inaugural competition, a far cry from the 700 plus who enter today. Our first object is this gold winners medal from the first FA Cup, which saw Alcock's own Wanderers beat the Royal Engineers 1-0. The introduction of professionalism saw clubs in the North West and West Midlands dominate in the late 19th century, which is where we find our second object. On display in the museum is the FA Cup used from 1896 to 1910. This silver trophy replaced the original after it was stolen from a Birmingham shoe shop, following Aston Villa's 1895 Cup win. This second little tin idol was then used until 1910, when the current design was introduced. Before the successes of United and City, Bury were the first club from Greater Manchester to win the Cup. Our third object is this leather football, used when the Shakers beat Derby County 6-0 in the 1903 final. A scoreline that remains a finals record, matched only once by Pep Guardiola and the treble-winning Manchester City side of 2018-19. Our next object reflects the impact the First World War had on the FA Cup. This winner's medal belonged to Wilfred Bartrop, who played for Barnsley's cup-winning side of 1912. Bartrop was one of an estimated over 2,000 British footballers who served in the war, serving with the Royal Field Artillery. Unfortunately, he was killed on the 7th of November 1918, just 4 days before the armistice was signed. Our next FA Cup object is one of Wembley's original turnstiles, installed for the Empire Stadium's first match, the 1923 FA Cup final. The final saw Bolton Wanderers face West Ham, and the FA undertook a major advertising campaign to guarantee a good attendance. The advertisers perhaps did too good a job, as an estimated 200,000 fans jumped turnstiles, climbed barriers and flooded onto the pitch. The match is now remembered as the White Horse Final, following this famous image of Billy the White Horse directing the crowd back so that the match could start. The story of another famous cup final is told with object number 6, Stanley Matthews' kit from Blackpool's famous 4-3 cup win against Bolton Wanderers in 1953. 3-1 down with 20 minutes to go, Matthews inspired Blackpool to a comeback, eventually winning 4-3. Matthews' match kit and medal is proudly on display at the National Football Museum. However, it was Blackpool's other legendary Stan who scored a hat-trick that day. Stan Mortensen remains the only player to score a hat-trick in an FA Cup final held at Wembley. Our 7th collection object shows the lengths to which Manchester City's Bert Trautmann went to win the trophy. In the 1956 final, Manchester City faced Birmingham City. With 17 minutes left, City were winning 3-1 when disaster struck. Trautmann bravely dived at the feet of Birmingham forward Peter Murphy, Murphy's knee knocking him unconscious. After several minutes of treatment and with no substitutes permitted, Trautmann insisted in finishing the game. City held on, and Trautmann's performance remains the most heroic in cup final history. 3 days later, he discovered he'd broken his neck, this neck brace being used whilst he recovered over the following months. All our objects so far have been from FA Cup finals, so here's an object highlighting the history of cup upsets, a programme from the last match in Blythe Spartans' famous cup run of 1978. Spartans, along with Wrexham, Hereford United, Sutton United and Worcester City, can all count themselves as some of the more famous giant killers in the long history of the cup. Sticking with FA Cup upsets, one of the greatest FA Cup final upsets remains Wimbledon's 1-0 win against First Division champions Liverpool in 1988. Object number 9 is Alan Hansen's shirt from this final. Hansen was part of an all-star squad featuring John Barnes, Peter Beardsley and Ray Houghton, who lost to Wimbledon's crazy gang that day. Liverpool fans may want to look away for our next object too, the infamous cream off-white Armani suits that the squad wore prior to the 1996 FA Cup final. This suit, on display at the museum, belongs to Robbie Fowler. On the pitch, Liverpool wore this more fashionable green and white quartered shirt, but lost to a late Eric Cantona winner, as Manchester United completed a league and cup double. Our final FA Cup museum object is Ryan Giggs' match-worn shirt from the 1999 FA Cup final. Manchester United faced Alan Shearer and Newcastle United in that year's final, but perhaps the most famous moment in their cup run took place in the semi-final. With time running out in their semi-final replay against Arsenal, Ryan Giggs went on a mazy run to score one of the FA Cup's most famous goals. This was the last ever FA Cup semi-final replay and has gone down as one of the Cup's greatest ever matches, with Giggs' goal equally one of the Cup's greatest goals. So that's our 11 museum objects on the history of the FA Cup, but what objects and stories would you include? Let us know in the comments. Find these and thousands of other objects in our online collection at nationalfootballmuseum.com. Thanks for watching, remember to drop this video a like and subscribe for more football history content.